two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. With Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with your boy Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and the Heartbreak Dude Denton. And this is our AEW edition. How y'all doing today? Welcome back for the first time, or thank you for returning. And Ryan, how is your weekend? You're ready for the weekend? How's it going over there?
Yeah, apparently we've had a lot of storms. I'm in the state of North Carolina. I'm okay. Family's okay. Everybody's good. But my friends over on the western part of the state, I know my buddy Zach, who listens to our podcast, he's out there, and a few other folks, they're seeing a lot of real bad flood damage going on. So thoughts and prayers are out with everybody. Hopefully everyone's safe, and we're thinking of you. And yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I wanted to bring that up because I realized afterwards I thought it was in Florida, and then I found out it was actually in
parts of Florida.
Florida, and I was like,
North Carolina.
Yeah. I was like, my boy lives out there. I gotta figure that out. So
but no, we luckily the area I'm in the middle of the state, so we weren't hit. But it's weird that the hurricane went to the mountainous part of our state, like way far away from the coast. But it's because it's not so much the hurricane. It was all the rain that we've had from the hurricane that caused it was basically like in Katrina when the levees broke. That's what happened here. Like rivers flooded, and that they just couldn't hold all that water, and it just washed away towns and washed away roads. And just because you have I-40, which is right next to a big river in the mountains, and it just flooded. And so now
that's awful.
It's scary stuff.
It is. Prayers up. Whatever you do, keep everybody in your thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
On that sad note, let's get into a happy note. And that is, you got some news, right? About AEW.
Yeah.
People have heard it, but let's hear it.
The long-awaited television deal has arrived. The Acclaimed have arrived. And but it is here. The TV deal is upon us. It was announced on Wednesday, right before AEW's 5-year anniversary show. But they came to a 3-year deal, 4-year deal, 3 years guaranteed, 4th year is an option year for Warner Bros. Discovery. Close to about $185 million per year is what's being reported. So a total of about $555 million. The shows are going to be on. It's a multi-year renewal. AEW Dynamite is going to be on Wednesdays on TBS, and Collision is going to air Saturdays on TNT. But they're also going to simulcast those shows starting in January. They'll stream exclusively on Max. So they'll be on TNT and TBS respectively, and they'll be on Max at the same exact time. And I think that's huge for them. I think that was good, getting them on Max and getting them in front of that audience that maybe doesn't have the cable. That can now get in front of AEW in front of them as well. AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery will also collaborate to distribute AEW live pay-per-view events on Max at a discounted price per event, with all marketing and promotion of those pay-per-view events exclusively centered on Max. The pay-per-view distribution on Max will begin later in 2025, with additional pricing and information to be shared in the next coming months. So that's the big news. There was nothing mentioned about AEW Rampage, but I think from everything we're seeing, Rampage is done. Probably starting in January. We probably stream the last episode of Rampage, or we'll do a watch along or something for the final Rampage. So Rampage looks to be done. And then there was nothing about the new show potentially on Fox, but the latest reports are saying that they might get a show on Fox and not like FS1, FS2, FS8, the Ocho, but they might go on Fox. and they're thinking of maybe Thursday nights, because Wednesday nights obviously with Dynamite, Tuesday night NXT, and then they don't want to compete with Raw or SmackDown on Friday. So we're looking at maybe Thursday or maybe Tuesday nights with NXT, but really more likely Thursday night for that 1 hour show, Shockwave, which is still in the final negotiation stages, I guess. But a part of the deal, according to a lot of the reports out there, that Warner Brothers Discovery wants AEW to be exclusive on cable to them and to their properties, and that's why they're able to. That's why people are thinking they're going to get Fox, because Fox is not a cable network. But if they went to FS1, it would be. So they want exclusivity on cable for Max and Warner Brothers Discovery, but not. So it's okay if they negotiate with Fox. So apparently they might be going to Fox.
That's bizarre to me. I don't
Yeah.
see why in any way, shape, or form why Fox would want AEW. And that's not a dig. I just saw the ratings for Dynamite, and they got like 690,000, and NXT got like 890,000. I don't see why any TV. So let's start with the deal, right? 100%. I'm happy. Good for business and good for the wrestling world in general.
Absolutely.
If you are an AEW nut hugger, you are excited because you get at least 3 more years of AEW on your TV screen. And if you are a WWE nut hugger who hates AEW, you should be super excited because now the WWE will still push the best product because it has competition. You cannot have if AEW died out, which no one truly thought was happening. So sorry, all you AEW nut huggers. Nobody truly thought they were dying. Shut up. But with that said, with WWE, you need competition. And I know AEW is not direct competition in that sense, but it keeps them on their toes and it keeps them wanting to be a better product. And that's what I mean. When WCW died and they were bought out, that was the worst of times for WWE, and it happened forever. I never thought WWE would get out of it. Basically, they didn't until Triple H. So it's like you see downfalls. You need competition. You need to be better than if you have nothing to go against, nothing happens. So overall, fantastic deal. Like, thank you. Yeah.
To further that point too, it gives the wrestlers another option too. So you go to WWE and you can't get over, or you just don't get on TV very much, or it's not all unicorns and rainbows. You have an option with AEW, and vice versa with AEW. You have, look at some of the AEW wrestlers that have come over to WWE: Ethan Page, Lexis King, Cody Rhodes. But all the WWE people. Swerve Strickland was nothing in WWE, and he's a superstar in AEW now. So, there's a whole lot more to choose from there. But so it gives wrestlers another option of a place to go where they can continue making a living and honing in on their craft.
And some wrestlers need that, right? Some fit in WWE better and some fit in AEW better, and that's good. The pay-per-view deal, obviously, we're both going to say we hate. I don't get it. My thing is if as Warner Bros. So this deal, I know a lot of people are jumping to it. I think this deal was more of a Warner Brothers not being sure of AE. I think this was like okay, you guys had some good times. It's been 5 years. You're kind of falling off. I'll give you 3 more to see if you guys can shape up. And if you do, then we'll do the 4th and maybe discuss more, because no TV deals like this are ever that short of amount of a time. And then the pay-per-views. If they were truly confident, they would have made the pay-per-views part of the product. I don't see why they would charge extra and why Tony Khan would want that. AEW's best is the pay-per-views. That's where they shine. That's where they don't have to tell stories. They throw on great matches. That would get people intrigued. The only people who buy AEW events are hardcore fans. Making it $60 to $30, I don't think is going to get non-AEW fans biting. I think you needed to have those pay-per-views part of the. You already paid $15 a month for Max. Why are you going to pay another $30 a month to watch a? I thought that was a huge miss. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's a huge miss to help AEW grow.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they really seriously reconsider that and reevaluate it, because they never said. They said starting in January this show is coming to Max, but they said the pay-per-views are coming later in 2025. So they don't have a specific date in mind, which that's another little bit of a concern for me, because they're going to have Australia Grand Slam starting in February, and we still have 3 more pay-per-views in 2024. So when are we getting these pay-per-views? But I'm hoping that they really do reconsider that whole option, and maybe you get all the AEW pay-per-views with your Max subscription if you pay for the higher tier. Maybe you get 6 of them for the lower tier. Maybe if you get the cheapest tier that they have, you get them, but you got to pay extra for them or something. So I'm hoping that they come up with some options, because I do not like that model at all.
No, me neither. Me neither. Last thing, the library, genius. I think they need to utilize that. Max needs to put it on their main screen. They need to put it out there and go, hey, this is AEW COVID years, the first year, because that's when they were cooking. Get people intrigued, get people to love these characters that are still existing, and showing that AEW can be that company. I think that's a really, really good thing too. The library is a huge
and Ring of Honor too is huge for them.
Are they going to do that? Are they doing it?
They have to. I mean, I'm assuming they are.
If they get Ring of Honor, then it's
because it's owned by Tony Khan, so I'm hoping they put that on the Max library with AEW. But my big thing, I think the library is great, and I think absolutely get eyes on it, market it, promote it. But when I watch Peacock in the WWE Network, I do watch it for PLEs. But I also I don't really watch old episodes of Raw or SmackDown. I don't really. Sometimes, like when we do watch-alongs and stuff, we'll go into Peacock and pull up old pay-per-views. But what I watch it for is some of the exclusive content that they do, some of the documentaries, and some of the the docu-series, like the Monday Night Wars thing that they have on there is fantastic. The documentaries, like they put there's a recent documentary on there about Damian Priest. It's fantastic. Well done. And they do things like behind the curtain when they show like Edge when he returned to WrestleMania, what that whole thing was like, but they show him behind the scenes at WrestleMania when he returned. I want AEW to capitalize on some of that stuff and do some because a lot of their wrestlers they've got good stories in them. Like let's go through some of the controversies with MJF. What was he doing during that hiatus? Let's go behind the scenes and talk about Britt Baker and her recovery from injury, and Adam Cole and his recovery from injury. Let's give us some more, give me a reason to be invested in the characters and the wrestlers instead of just showing their matches. So I know that's probably a long way off before we get there, but that's what I watch the network for with WWE. And I'd like to see some of that with AEW as well.
Yeah, and Tony Khan has the money to do that, and the production probably, so he should.
Yeah,
good, valid point.
Jack Barry, for example.
Yeah, right. My last thing before we get into the week isn't Warner? I don't know if it's Warner Brothers Discovery, or aren't they like hugely in debt? Didn't they lose like some billions of dollars this year?
They've been doing a lot of.
I'm pretty sure that happened. They lost some kind of. But they lost like some billions of dollars, especially with losing the NBA, and that was why. Yeah. So, once again, that makes me weary as, for one, where's the $158 million or whatever it is a year coming from? But secondly, is Warner like a dying company? Is it disappearing? Is that why they're doing it simulcast on their Max? Because I know Max for fact is losing money. Every year it loses money. That streaming service is straight losing money. So I don't like that. That worries me as well. And kind of, Netflix is losing money too. So I'm not trying to say it's like both sides. That's just the world we live in. But
and there's also an option in the Netflix deal too. I mean, they have a 4-year contract with Netflix, and for an option on the 5th year with WWE and Netflix. So I think options are common when it comes to this. And if they don't get a return on their investment, though, they can cut them. And Netflix is known to cut things like while they're really good.
Wait, WWE signed a 10-year on Netflix.
Was it? Oh, 10 years. Yeah, you're right.
That's 10 years, bro. Yeah, they signed.
You're right.
SmackDown did a 5-year.
That's
so
what
maybe
it was.
That's a 4-year with a 5th-year option. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, to your point, I think they did lose some money. I think probably a lot of this money that they're getting is from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So we can thank him again for getting fired from Black Adam and costing Henry Cavill his job as Superman. And so thank you, Rock. I mean, I want to see a all out behind the curtain documentary with The Rock sitting there being like, so I told David Zaslav, use my money that you used to bring AEW to Max or something, because how he took credit for the Cody story. Let's give Rock credit for saving AEW.
Well, I'll tell you this much: that new Joker film isn't going to save Warner Brothers.
Gosh,
that movie was utter.
You saw it?
I saw it last night. I literally wanted to jump off a building.
I was so excited for it.
And one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
And I love Joaquin Phoenix. I think his Joker's better than Heath Ledger's. He blows Heath Ledger out of the water, but. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it was.
I heard about the ending.
It doesn't even make sense. None of it makes sense. The whole movie is trash. It's trash from beginning to end. And if you were in it for Harley Quinn, she ain't there, and Lady Gaga's in it for like 20 minutes. So it's atrocious. The movie is like, But anyway, let's end it. AEW, congratulations. We're glad you're sticking around. We're glad you're here.
3 more years. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and more. Tony Khan ain't letting this place go.
Yeah, anywhere. And
But let's get cooking, right?
Yeah. Before we move, but you got your TV deal. You're on TV for the next 3 years. So let's tighten things up a little bit. Let's get a creative team in there. Promote. Like, I want to see AEW all over Max. I want to see AEW on every advertisement. I want to see AEW featured at on collector's cups and 7-Eleven and all. Like, promote your stuff now and get eyes on your product, because that's what you need. You got your TV deal. Now you got to get people interested in your product. And the ratings this week, they weren't very good. So let's change that. Let's turn that around.
I want to know why AEW wrestlers aren't at every single Jags games. I don't get it. Worst movie ever and better Joker than Heath. Holy moly, I'm going to fight both of you. Patrick, did you see that movie? There's no way you actually saw that movie if you're
Joaquin Phoenix.
That movie was
But
trash.
I will say Joaquin Phoenix in Joker 1 was better than Heath Ledger. The only reason Heath Ledger won the Oscar is because he passed away.
So I know Denton has seen worse movies. This guy who used to work at Blockbuster. Here's the thing, right? Heath Ledger, okay? You're going to get a lot of crap for that because everybody thinks Heath Ledger's performance as a Joker was the greatest performance ever. But me and Patrick used to have this debate too. We used to have this debate too. It is hard to ever truly admit if that performance was truly great or not, because all of our opinions changed once he died. We didn't see it till after he died. So you're either A, mentally going to go with it's great because I want it to be great, or B, I don't want it to be great because I don't want it to be great. So it'll never be a fair comparison. And honestly, you and Patrick are both wrong. There is not even close. Jack Nicholson is by far the greatest Joker of all time.
Yeah.
Shut it down. Let's move on.
They're all better than Jared Leto, which we can all agree on with that.
I didn't hate Jared Leto. Once again, I have a Jared Leto shirt where he has like the thing on.
I didn't hate him either. I thought he was a good Joker.
Was it
Mark Hamill?
No, but
Mark Hamill is the GOAT.
All right. Jokers. Well, that's a voice. That's all right. Let's get on topic.
Yeah. But to further that point, though, I mean, I think Heath Ledger, the best actor in that whole entire movie was Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. So I'll say that. I thought he was a fantastic.
We have sort of a Two-Face in this new Joe, but I want Patrick to throw in the comments if he saw the movie or not, because it's impossible. There's no way any human being saw that movie and went out like, "Wow, that was great." Me and Brandy were like disgusted. It was, and I went in. I love musicals. I'm Mr. Musical, so it wasn't that. Yeah. There was just no point to the movie. It literally had no point, and the ending was even dumber. Because the way they did the Joker, that's not the joke. It was just bad. It's just, I don't even know why it was created, to be honest, because it's not even in a universe.
Because they were capitalizing on the success of the first one. That's what they did.
DC needs to create an actual universe, which I'm assuming they're doing. I don't know. But anyway, all right.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
A whole audience now.
No, they're probably more now. They're going to be like, rah!
Yeah, I can't believe you said that about Heath Ledger. No.
Well, wait till they hear what we say about Ricochet and Will Ospreay. All right, Rampage and Collision review. I'm going to start with Rampage, go into Collision. Let's go. The House of Black defeat Lio Rush and Action Andretti. After the match, Brody King destroys Andretti. Anna Jay defeats Robin Renegade. Will Ospreay and Ricochet have a sit-down. Takeshita defeats Angelico. The Acclaimed beat some jobbers after Max Caster says that he will crash the MXM party on Collision. MXM pop up on screen to say, you ain't invited. And in the main event, Willow defeats Taya Valkyrie, and that ends Rampage. Collision. Jaymie Hayter defeats Saraya in a Saraya rules match. I repeat, Jaymie Hayter defeats Saraya in a Saraya rules match. I'll have more about that afterwards. More sit down with Ricochet and Will Ospreay. The Learning Tree defeat the Conglomeration. Brody, hi guys. Hi Patrick. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow. Where are we? After the righteous hit the ring to brawl and with Top Flight and friends, Jack Perry defeats Suzuki after driving into the arena yet again. I don't know what's going on with that bus. After the match, Shibata makes the save. The BCC defeat Private Party and Commander to defend their trio titles. The Outrunners are at an amusement park. Hologram wins a 3-way. After Roosh hits the ring and they all attack Hologram. Statlander is back and she will pick her spots. MXM Collection present the new Max Caster jacket, but Daddy Ass and the Acclaim attack them in possibly the worst segment in history of wrestling. Hangman Page defeats Double J in a strap match and then beats down Juice Robinson as well. And in the main event, Okada defeats Sammy Guevara to defend his title, and that's the Rampage and Collision Week in Review. Let's hear it, bro. Where do you want to start? A lot of things to start from.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to them, man, because they used to do Rampage Grand Slam, and then they just Rampage this week took place last week, so they had to keep that under wraps so they could tape Collision after Dynamite Grand Slam. So it was all confusing. But oh, by the way, the best Joker is Joker Sting, by the way. But
all right, I'll give you that. He's also the best Crow.
Yeah, that was a good Joker. Yeah, but I'm just gonna skip Rampage because really nothing happened other than the Ricochet Will Ospreay interview that piqued my interest, and
not much.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, Rampage was a solid show. But I want to talk about this Grand Slam episode because Grand Slam is one of your big shows of the year. You know, you hype Dynamite Grand Slam, you hype Collision Grand Slam, you hype, you're having it live at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. It's a big moment for AEW. And you had Jack Perry give an open challenge for his TNT championship. And what usually happens at these Grand Slam events? We just saw it last week. MVP made his arrival. Last year, Saraya made her debut at Dynamite Grand Slam. We had title matches on Grand Slam before. MJF and Samoa Joe. That's where Adam Cole broke his ankle. At Grand Slam last year. So all of these shows happen, and usually we expect something big. And when Jack Perry put out an open challenge, maybe it was my expectations of AEW were a little too high, but I was hoping it was something big. I was hoping maybe a returning Adam Copeland. I was hoping for maybe a Bobby Lashley debut. I was hoping for maybe a returning Adam Cole, something for the TNT Championship. But no, once again, it's Minoru Suzuki. I feel like him and Shibata answer every single open challenge in AEW. And I like those guys. I have no problem with those guys being there. And AEW, like we've said before, they handle Japanese wrestlers better than the WWE does, and they treat them the way they should be treated, and they treat them like stars. But man, that guy looks like 100 years old, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of these. They have to answer every single open challenge, and now we're getting Shibata versus Jack Perry at WrestleDream for the TNT Championship. I just feel like there could have been so much more with this, and maybe that was just my expectations as a wrestling fan and an AEW fan that maybe I had high hopes, but I was really disappointed when it was Suzuki.
Well, this is what happens when you don't have stories, right? And you have open challenges. We have 8 more open challenges on Dynamite. It's just open challenge after open challenge after open challenge. There's no story built to it. So what do you have? I think it's weird. And what is Jack Perry doing? Just beating up every Japanese wrestler? That's gonna how is him beating Suzuki or Shibata gonna elevate him to where he needs to go? And that's my biggest concern, is that we take these AEW guys and we have them wrestle nobody. Hangman Page was in the biggest AEW feud of the year against Swerve Strickland. He followed that up by wrestling Double J and now feuding with Juice Robinson. I mean, I know we're getting somewhere else, but I mean, we're just having this guy wrestle. And who did he wrestle before Double J? It was I forgot. You're not following this guy up with major stars.
The one from Evil Uno. Yeah.
Evil, yeah. It's like, what are you doing? And that's always my problem with AEW is, once again, good ideas, bad execution. And speaking of good ideas, bad execution, you have an evil heel in Saraya who decides to come up with a Saraya rules match, and nobody knows what the hell it is. So she announces all the rules, and these rules were ridiculous. So if you're gonna go in the comedy route of rules, why wouldn't one of your other rules be that Saraya can't lose? I don't understand, like, any of the logic. Like, only I can use weapons, only I can have friends, only I can and then you have her lose. Did this do a lot for Jaymie Hayter? Because in my opinion, it just made Saraya look really stupid and bad. And what happened to, they brought Saraya over, just like every WWE person, with high hopes.
Yeah.
They finally gave her the title in her hometown. She had it for 4.7 seconds, and they've done nothing with her. And I know she's injured and stuff or whatever, but we can utilize her a little bit better than this, man. It's just,
Yeah.
But that was just, I just thought the whole logic, if you're going to go campy with it, then it needs to go campy. It should have been Hayter pinning and then the ref being like, sorry, I can't. Saraya just told me that it's a no, you can't lose match.
You would think that
and
would
then,
be one of,
and
like,
then, yes. Yeah. And then Saraya wins. And then you have this feud, and you're building a story to where now Jaymie Hayter has to get her comeuppance and get revenge. And then Dum Dum comes out, Christopher Daniels, and he's like, "Oh, now it's a Jaymie Hayter rules match." Oh, yeah. And then we can do, but at least build a story. What do? You just make Jaymie Hayter didn't look any better. It's not like now people are like, "Woo, Jaymie Hayter next up, Mercedes
Yoo-hoo.
money."
Yeah,
like nobody cared. It just made Saraya look bad. I don't. Once again, good ideas, bad. They don't want to build stories, and I don't know why.
I know. I don't get it. I will say that's probably the best Saraya has looked in the ring since she's been in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
yes.
she moved a lot better. She didn't look stiff. Usually she looks like you can. Lately she's been looking like she's in pain every time she wrestles. But this time she looked great. She looked fantastic, and so I'm not dogging her in-ring ability. It was just more of the execution of everything. Like, how do you have her lose a match that's for her? It makes no sense. I don't understand it. And I just thought that was just a crummy way to go about doing things, especially for Saraya. And like, where does she go from here? I mean, and plus, like, she also has Camille or Harley Cameron, rather, not Camille, but Harley Cameron on her side, and like they can't do anything right together either. So
no,
I don't get where this goes.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're doing with Jaymie Hayter. Like, I'm happy Jaymie Hayter's back, but like, where does she go from here? Because she's not going for the TBS championship. She's not going for the women's championship. So she's just going to stay feuding with Saraya. I mean, we got to do something for her too.
Obviously not, right? But her also trying to look like a clone, a Temu version of Becky Lynch isn't helping her right now. She needs to change that. I don't know who thought that was when she rolled in, Tony Khan should have been like, no, thank you. It's just, you can't like, I don't know. It worked with Goldberg, I guess, but it doesn't really always work in that act. Can we talk about the sit down though, too? Will Ospreay and Ricochet. We can do it quickly, but who saw this footage and was like, that works? Let's air this. Like, why didn't you shoot that, watch it, and go like, no, this is really, really bad. Let's not. And maybe that's why they only gave you snippets, because it was so bad. But that was bad on both parties. Will Ospreay sucked too.
Yeah, the sad part about it was I watched it and I immediately said to myself, this is why Ricochet never touched the mic in WWE, because they knew this was what they were going to get. He was just like, some of the stuff he was saying did not make any sense. He compared himself to Kobe Bryant hitting the shot in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, what have you done to be Kobe Bryant? Like Kobe Bryant was clutch. And like, I mean, I could see somebody like MJF, who's carried that company on his shoulders, saying that, and I could get behind it. Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, I could see them saying that. I could see somebody coming from WWE that was accomplished saying that, but not freaking Ricochet, who hasn't really done anything. And I mean, he held the Intercontinental title for a little while in WWE, but other than that, I mean, he didn't really do anything. And it just, to compare yourself to Kobe in the fourth quarter and say that you're clutch and you know what you're doing. Yeah. And then we'll talk more about it when we get to the match itself. But that whole thing. And then Will Ospreay, you know, you're here facing me, little bro. It was just, all of it was bad. I just didn't.
It was,
I didn't. I'm glad they put it all on there.
And Will Ospreay's good on the mic. It's just that's how bad Ricochet was. He was also wearing my son's Black Panther Halloween costume, and I didn't understand that either. What the hell was he doing? He looked like an idiot. It was an awful thing. Tony Khan should have cut that. One more awful thing. I know we're doing negatives, but hopefully we'll get in some positives on Dynamite and such. But what happened to that MXM? That was MXM have been nothing but gold since even their interview on Rampage was gold, like one sideways, one forward, gold. Who the hell allowed that to happen?
I don't know. It's obviously Tony Khan. But see, I'm going to get some heat for this. I don't think the segment was that bad. I think it was more like, I don't really know what direction AEW is going in. And I think that's where people are a little torn on this because it was very, like AEW goes around preaching, we're the best wrestle. We're wrestling. They do wrestling-based storylines. We tell stories in the ring. We have stories like, I'm going to answer your open challenge. I'm going to turn on my best friend. I'm going to, cost you this match. I'm going to debut and take everybody out. Those are the stories that AEW tells. So, but this segment was very sports entertainment-y. Like I could see this happening in like a Vince McMahon-led Monday Night Raw. And like, that's just not who AEW is. And that's what I didn't like about the segment. I thought it was fine. I like that they're telling a story. Thought it went a little too long. And then I thought definitely lost the crowd. It was the worst thing. It was the low light of that show. I'll say that. But I feel like I don't know. To me, the thing that made it bad wasn't so much the segment. I thought both guys did a good job. I like that it was Billy Gunn at the reveal. Billy Gunn's jacked, by the way. Jeez, I didn't realize he was that jacked, but he is jacked. And I like that they're telling a story, but I just think it kind of deviates from what AEW preaches. Like, we're wrestling. Here's a 35-minute long runway skit with MXM Collection that's very sports entertainment like. So it just kind of goes against what they're all about, and that's what I didn't like about it.
Well said. Yeah, I just miss for me. All right, you ready? Let's get into some Dynamite.
Yeah.
You nailed that perfectly. Oh, the Dynamite 5-year anniversary show.
Big Dynamite.
All right. That is true.
The Big D.
All right. That's what they call me. All right. My name is Denton. All right, you ready? The BCC.
You should change your username to the Big D.
The Big D. People just say I'm copying Big E, and then all my exes are going to be like, it's true. All right. The BCC opened the show and they discuss Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson. Taz was allegedly attacked. No one saw it. I don't know. Ricochet and Will Ospreay ends in a DQ when Takeshita attacks Ricochet and Ospreay. Mercedes Money gives us a video package of her highlights from AEW Dynamite. I don't know. And MVP hands her a card. Hangman Page attacks the Guns. The Learning Tree. Hi, Patrick. Are in the ring, and Jericho wants the ROH title. So out comes Briscoe to mumble through some words. Jericho brings up his brother, so Briscoe punches him in the face. Darby Allin issues an open challenge at WrestleDream. Hangman Page.
Suzuki's going to answer it.
Well, duh. Hangman Page defeats Juice Robinson. And after the match, we get the return of Jay White, babyface. And they brawl into the crowd where a table is set nicely for them to go through. Jack Perry drives up and Shibata challenges him for WrestleDream. And Jack Perry attacks him and then accepts. Bryan Danielson hates Jon Moxley. And he's wrestling Okada. Why? Because they're 1-1. Britt Baker defeats Serena Deeb. After the match, Deeb attacks and Queen Amanada makes the save. Hook swears revenge for his father. Christian Cage says he'll be the next world champion. Mariah May and Willow almost brawl. Private Party defeats Iron Savages. Yes, the same Private Party that was just squashed a couple nights beforehand. After the match, the team that just got squashed, Private Party announced they want title shots. Cue the Young Bucks and Jack Perry to attack. Win who else? Shibata makes the save, and we get a 6-man at Dynamite Rampage. MVP introduces who else? Sheldon Benjamin to his crew. In the main event, Bryan Danielson defeats Okada in a 4.5-hour main event when the BCC distract Okada. After the match, the BCC attacked Bryan Danielson when Wheeler Yuta makes a save. He wants a tag match at Titty Title Tuesday, which I guess is the next Dynamite. I had not heard one thing about any Title Tuesday. So we'll get Wheeler and Danielson versus Pac and Claudio at Dynamite to close the show. And that's the Dynamite review, 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, they're going head to head with NXT next week for the first hour because it's at 9 and NXT's at 8. But
I mean, they just got smoked by NXT, and that's not good because that St. Louis show is going to get good ratings. So
yeah.
Let's break it down.
This was a fun episode. Shelton Benjamin, man, he's in AEW. I'm pumped for that. I think I think it's the perfect spot for him if they use him correctly, and that's always the caveat with AEW. It's always a big if, but if they use him properly and they use, I mean, he's a wrestler. I mean, you saw that match with him and Shawn Michaels. It was probably one of the best matches on Monday Night Raw ever. It was fantastic, and the guy can go. So I'm excited to see what they do with him. I'm excited to see him in MVP. I don't know how I feel about them using a WWE gimmick or a WWE thing in AEW, but curious to see what they do with it.
So I'm going to throw it out here. Let's get some controversy going. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
Number one, we all knew Sheldon Benjamin was coming. Bobby Lashley's next. We said it last week on the show. Check the receipts. So we knew this was happening. It is what it is, right? The Hurt Business 2.0. Here's my thing. In this episode, MVP brought in Sheldon Benjamin, but we also recruited somebody. One, Mercedes Money. Both are black human beings. Black female, black male. MVP is black. He is creating a group of looks like black wrestlers. So let me ask you this. There is rumors going around that one Triple H is a racist. And why is Triple H a racist? Because he created a group called the Hurt Business, which was all black wrestlers. And after that, he put Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill together because they are black wrestlers. And why would he put all the black wrestlers together? Because he hates black people and he's a racist. So that came from all the AEW nut huggers who hate WWE. I want the same flippin' energy right now. I want to hear why it is not racist for Tony Khan to put the same exact people together. You want to know why it's not racist, Ryan? You want to know why? Because it's not. Yeah. Because I literally said this last week. Me being 25% black, which I am, I don't put myself in the category or say that I'm in that culture. My dad was half. It is what it is, right? But here's the thing. The black culture, they want that. That you don't think Sheldon Benjamin and MVP want to be together. It makes them look stronger. In a country where we make that race look weak and we abuse them and do other things that I don't need to get into, they like to be together because they feel empowered to show that they can do that damn thing. And I just think it is ridiculous because I guarantee, I did not check, that AEW hardcore fans are blowing up that Sheldon Benjamin showed up, that MVP is pairing up with them, that Mercedes Money might pair up. I want the same damn energy. Stop claiming racism on things because you don't like a person. And that's what we said last week. And that's my only thing I'm going to say about it, my help you out mode, because it's not fair to accuse people of things like that when it's not true. Don't put it into the universe. And I was not saying Tony Khan was. I'm saying that I want that same damn energy because that's ridiculous. Because where is it now? If it was a Triple H thing, why are they pairing up? Why are they pairing up together again? If it was Triple H forced them. So I just want to spit that out.
They put Stokely Hathaway with Chris Statlander. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's a black guy and a white guy. So Tony Khan.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm just saying, I'm just saying you're going to get another black faction, which is perfectly okay. One of my favorite factions of all time is the Nation of Domination. One of my other factions of all time is the Hurt Business. One of my, it's a lot, get out of my face with it. I'm just trying to prove a point. I'm just so sick of internet trolls and stupid people who say stupid things. We need to stop. We need to stop.
Yeah.
So
it's one thing to criticize their booking, criticize the way they're used, criticize the way that they, you're going to have them come in to all this fanfare and just to lose. Then criticize that all day long. But to sit there and say that somebody's racist and then somebody goes and does the exact same thing just proves that it's not. So.
And that they want to be together. That's what they want.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's a problem. Once again, you can have 4 white people in a group, 4 Asians in a group, it's perfectly fine. But let's grow up in this world. It's not like they were forced. So anyway, what else you got on this? You want to talk about the flippity doo flippity?
Oh yeah. So
oh my, what a wonderful day.
Yeah. Okay. So Will Ospreay and Ricochet opened the show, and I told you, I texted you some pretty offensive comments about.
Yeah, you don't gotta say it.
Yeah. But yeah, the match was terrible. All this hype, you brought Ricochet in from the WWE basically to have a match with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay wanted Ricochet to come over, and this is, their first match was on the 5-year episode of Dynamite, and it was just, the flips and the cartwheels and I tell you why he wore the Black Panther costume was so he could do the Black Panther pose in the ring where he punches the ground and then Will Ospreay goes at the exact same time. It's just, what are we doing? This match I was excited about it, but all that crap at the beginning of it just completely took me out of it. I actually popped really hard for Takeshita when he came out. I was like, thank you for ending us.
End this misery.
You for save us to Takeshita. You're our only hope. But yeah, that match was it was brutal. It was probably the worst Will Ospreay match I've seen in AEW. Probably one of the worst Ricochet matches I've seen in a long time. So I don't know if they just didn't have enough time or if they were nervous or what happened, but man, that was a dud. And I hopefully they'll get to run it back at some point and they'll put on a better match. But all of that flippity doodah stuff at the beginning just took me out of it.
A lot of sad things about this match. Number one, Ricochet is once again another WWE guy who has come over, who has done nothing but suck. Number two, and we'll talk about Mercedes money hopefully too in a soon. Number two, it's sad that Ricochet didn't know that trend before coming over. He should have looked at that before he came over and said, I'm really not going to do anything other than wrestle Will Ospreay. Number three, that whole flippity doodah on basically this entire match, all they did was pay homage to their other match they had in the past. So they were trying to redo the match at a much older age. It was a lot slower, didn't look good, way more choreographed. Why are we having the same matches? I get it. The fans there are hardcore. Also, I give props to AEW fans all the flipping time. I think going to an AEW live event is the best wrestling events I can go to. I will state it. Any AEW event I've gone to is better than any WWE event, minus 100%. WrestleMania. But this crowd needs to stop, man. You don't have to woo-ah every single thing they do. Every flip. Oh, every chop. Oh, every whoa, every stop. You just saw this match, the match before this. Stop. You don't have to praise and holler out at just watch the match and cheer. You don't have to pretend like everything is like so flippin' amazing when it's not. It's a chop. They did a flip. Also, what happened to wrestling when we did flips and made them matter? I don't I know these AEW fans, hardcore fans will come at me and say, you just don't know. You just don't like pro wrestling. When was pro wrestling ever a ballet? When was it ever? Like, these guys are just flipping to flip. It doesn't even have to do with the match. Back in the days, it was good because you would have someone in an arm bar and they would flip out of it and you're like, oh, crap. Or like you go try to attack them and they flip over you, or you throw them out and they flip and land on their feet. It was like utilized to perfection, or just off the top rope, basic flips. Now we're just flipping around for fun and it looks choreographed. I don't want it to look choreographed. It's stupid. I don't even want movies to look choreographed. If I watch a movie and they have a fight scene and it looks choreographed, it's going to get dogged. It's not going to be liked. It's not going to get praised. Right, so why are we praising AEW, which fans are saying is a show, right? That's what all the AEW hardcore fans say. This is a movie. It's theater. Then why are we doing it so damn choreographed? It's pure cinema. Why is it choreographed? It looks awful. Stop. Ricochet and Will Ospreay are too talented to do that stupid shit. Have a match, please. Just have a match, and when you're in your match, add in their flips that you need that look real. The end. I'm done talking about it.
No,
forever.
You were completely spot on. That was atrocious to watch. I told you, man. I said you're gonna love this match. Like you were gonna absolutely.
I
Like,
knew you were. Yeah, I
if you
knew.
love Ricochet and Will Ospreay, you're gonna be a fan of this. But that was just, that was a horrible way to open what I thought was a pretty solid Dynamite from minus that.
Yeah, I like Dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Once again, the opening hurt it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's why they have 690,000 views. Because people just they watched it and were like, this is awful. I'm gonna turn it off, and they didn't turn it back on. So I'd be curious to know, like, if some other match was first, or if Bryan Danielson Okada was first, if the ratings would have been different. But you never know.
Right. Well, before we talk about the main event, let me just, because we got to kind of go a little bit. Let me just run through a few things, and you talk about what you want to talk about. So number one, Jericho is going to become the ROH champion. Let's
go through He's going to be the Nueve.
Right. He's going to be
the Ocho. Yeah.
Why does he win every title? Mercedes Money showing a video package of the highlights of Dynamite, but she showed highlights of herself, but there are no highlights because she's never wrestled. So it was literally her just walking to the ring. Who booked that? We got the return of Jay White. Awesome. Hook. Was that supposed to entice me? That was, in my opinion, pretty lame.
He sounded like Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad with like his promo.
Yeah.
Like, you mess with my family, I'm gonna mess with you, bitch. Like, just, that's how it was. It was just,
it was so bad. And once again, he's not scary. He looks like a 14-year-old child. Like, why am I gonna be like, oh shit, Hook's mad at me? Like, he looks like we gotta, like, Jack Perry's not a tough guy. So let's stop pushing these people. CM Punk's not a tough guy. Let's get these guys different gimmicks. Christian Cage, are you cool with him like being in the mix? And then once again, because we're doing main title fights and everything, and I think that's everything in between. And Private Party getting a title shot after getting squashed in a trios match. What was that all about? So go ahead, hit what you want. But that was my quick fix on all those things. If you remember them all, I think I hit everything.
I don't understand what they're, and Britt Baker too, but
that was
just a match. Just a match. I mean, what are they doing with the face of the women's division? I have no idea, because she's fantastic, and they need to be doing more with her immediately. So put her on.
She leaving, son. She leaving. I'm telling you.
Maybe. He's going to add injury time, so she'll probably be around for
she's got least, 8 years there.
she'll be there for the rest of the TV deal. So
that's funny.
But man, it's really, I mean, Jay White. I'm happy that Jay White's back.
Yes,
I think that
feud looked good
with Adam Page is going to be off the chains.
Yes, sir.
I think that whole thing was. I thought it was well done. I like that they kind of led to Switchblade coming out, and I mean, I think that's a perfect. And the cool thing about it is Hangman could lose, and it won't hurt him at all. And because he's unhinged, he's deranged, so he'll find a way to get revenge. He'll find a way to, and Jay White needs to win this feud. He can't lose his first match back. He's been losing a lot lately, but I think this could be the thing that gets Jay White going in AEW as well. He's kind of been fledgling there. Like he looked like an idiot in that whole feud against MJF when he was, he lost to Adam Cole with with a bum ankle and just all this weird stuff with MJF. And then he was with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang for a while. Then now he's feuding with Hangman Page. And I think it's a good move for him, and it's a good feud, and they need to really utilize this. And it's a perfect post Swerve Strickland feud for Adam or Switchblade Jay White.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you ready for main event time?
Yeah, let's get into it.
What'd you think? We had Okada versus Bryan Danielson. First 20 minutes, they counted down. They did their thing.
Yeah.
What do you?
I don't understand why they did that with them. I think because the Continental title matches are 20 minutes long, and that's like the rule. So, but why are you putting both titles on the line? Especially, I don't know, maybe because your next show is called Title Tuesday. So why not push this match on that and do title versus title and promote it then? I understand you're trying to tell a story with the BCC, but you could have told that story with anybody else besides Okada, and maybe give a little bit of a build between for Title Tuesday or something. And I mean, I thought the match was fine. I thought it went way too long. I was like, all right, guys, like, come on. It started off really slow. They didn't touch each other for the first 15 minutes of the match. They were just staring at each other. It was just very, very slow. And I was just like, all right, let's get to it. And then the ending just felt rushed too. I mean, like the BCC's just standing there and Okada's looking at him. And then Bryan Danielson rolls him up, and then he flips him off and storms off. It was like, huh? And then that's how it ended. And then Wheeler Yuta. Now Wheeler Yuta's third of the trios championships, but he's going up against them next week on Title Tuesday. So
in a non-title match.
Yeah, which like that doesn't make it. Oh my gosh! But yeah, like it was good. It was a good match, but the ending felt off. And then I am curious about this whole thing with Jon Moxley, because Jon Moxley cut the promo again, and he's been talking in riddles. And I didn't think he said anything out of the ordinary, but then Excalibur was like, "Well, what's he mean? Who's the one controlling Jon Moxley? So it makes me think that somebody else is calling the shots, and Jon Moxley is just running with it, because he kept saying like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be doing this. And so Excalibur was like, oh, well, what does he mean by that? Who's the one calling the shots? So it makes me think there's somebody else in the mix, a la Shane McMahon, doing all this. So good way to end the show, but the match just dragged on.
They're definitely hinting at it being Shane McMahon. The BCC opening was fire too. I like these promos at the
that was
BCC
good.
At the opening. Not much was said, but it's intense. It's nice. It's grainy. I felt bad for Marina Shafir, who got on and was like, hoogly boogly doogly. And then I was like, what are you doing?
What the hell did she just say?
Right. This girl's the only one that doesn't matter in the group, and you're giving her that line? Like, holy shit. Yeah. But anyway, this main event was a prime example of what I see wrong with AEW. And here's why. We had Hangman Page versus Juice Robinson in a match. And I didn't care one crap about it, because we're having a match with two guys with no build. And I said this to you before, is that like, I love pro football. I love it. I watch it, this and that. But if you put the Jaguars and the Titans on and I have no fantasy players in it, I'm not going to watch it. You want to know why? Because I don't care. If I don't care about it, why am I going to watch? Just because I like football, I want to watch it? No, I want to watch things that I love, that intrigue me, right? The same as with pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling, but I don't just want to watch two people wrestle just for fun, just because it's going to be a good match, because I'm going to get the same match. Bryan Danielson, every match he has, it's the same match. He's going to get on his knees, he's going to slap you. He's going to do the chops. He's going to do the kicks. He's going to do some jump out there. It's the same match over and over and over again. But what makes it special is that there's a story into it that makes me want to see those things, that make me want to see him overcome it. And I don't get that when him and Okada are put into a match for literally no reason. I was trying to pinpoint on why, when I see WWE have matches that are the same over and over again, WWE guys have the same type of styles over and over, but I like it because there's story to it. And yes, we are getting story with the result, and I think they are cooking with the BCC storyline. But like with Juice Robinson and Hangman Page, if you would have reminded me that he took out Jay White before the match, I would have been intrigued. Why didn't they just say, someone like Excalibur, who's great at his job, say, hey, he's wrestling Juice Robinson. Is he going to take him out like he did his buddy Jay White? Then I would have been like, oh, crap. All right, now I want to see this match. Guess what? Jay White appeared. And what do they do after Jay White appears? Then they remind me that Jay White he was taken out by Hangman Page. I would have been intrigued. Same thing. Like Okada, I'm not intrigued by title changes for no reason, especially when I know it's not going to happen. I also think that 20-minute thing slowed it down. I think they tried to tell a story that Okada was just trying to save face. So he basically had a boring 20 minutes so he wouldn't lose his title. And then the match picked up afterwards, because then he was like, now it's time to try, because now it's time to win his title. So basically he just dragged it out to get through his 20 minutes and then turned it on afterwards. But it made for a slow match. The ending was dumb, but I do like the BCC bickering to close the show. I am intrigued on where it's going. I am curious. I don't like that they're having a non-title match at title. If it's Title Tuesday, then it needs to be only title. Sorry.
Battle of the belts.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. So, but other than that, that's just my rant on it. I'm trying to figure, and that's why AEW, you have to stop putting, I get your hardcore fans do, but you just signed a 3-year deal, dude. 3 years. You need to get it together. And I put this out on TikTok, and there was people who told me I was wrong. They don't need to try to bring in casuals or kids. They could have as much blood. They don't need sponsors. People wrote that in my comments. I'm like, then you have never been a part of a business. No matter what you think about Tony Khan, he wants to make a profit. To make a profit, you have to cater to more than just your core fans. You don't have to change who you are at all. Be wrestling, be hardcore, but do it with stories and do it without syringes and as much blood every single week. and you will get those core people in. That's all I'm saying. And it'll build your brand. It's not hard.
But everything you just said is exactly why I kind of liked the MXM collection segment on Collision, because they're telling a story. They're not just going to put the Acclaimed against the MXM collection for no reason whatsoever. They're telling a story. They kind of, when they do feud, we're going to care about it. I mean, you may not have liked the way they executed that, but I mean, at least they're telling a story, and they're giving you reason to care about it and trying to boost their tag team division, as opposed to just, hey, this week the Acclaim versus MXM collection. Next week the FTR versus the Grizzled Young Vets versus the MXM collection. Next week we're gonna get Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson versus MXM collect. Like at least in that there's a whole story, and that's when AEW's at its best. Is when they're telling stories. Hangman and Page, or Hangman Adam Page and Jay White. That's really hard to say, but Hangman Adam Page and Jay White they have a story there. There's a reason to care. Bryan Danielson and John Moxley, everything Moxley's been doing, what's going on? There's reason to care. These guys were boys. Why are they feuding? Everything with Wheeler Yuta and the BCC, like what's going on there? There's a reason to care. But when you just put these two, like I don't understand the Elite. I don't understand what they're doing with Private Party and the Bucks. I don't understand what they're doing with Okada. I mean, I thought, like, what happened to Okada versus Takeshita? Weren't we getting that at one point? And
I guess not anymore.
Now Takeshita's going after Will Ospreay, which we've already seen. So it feels like they tell some stories and then they focus on wrestling. And when they focus on wrestling, they're not telling good stories. They just need to find a niche and stick with it.
Two things are why I hated that MXM collection. I love MXM, and I love that they are building a story. One, all you had to do was take out all the other people. You should have just had Daddy Ass in the ring. That segment would have been a lot better. Secondly, I think they thought they were trying to make that a statue, but Daddy Ass was moving. He was moving the entire. So those two things threw me off. Other than that, everything was would have worked. He was like moving, and I was like, well, obviously Daddy Ass is in there. I thought it was either Daddy Ass or Bowens. It was one of them. I knew they were going to be in there. Like, why'd you move them? But I guess it's hard to stand still during a 2-hour-long boring segment.
It was very, very weird that he was moving a lot. I'll give you that. But I mean, the point still stands. They were telling a story. Whereas Bryan Danielson and Okada, there's no story being told. There's no reason to care. So why should I care as a fan? So
they even did like AEW with my whole theory that they have great ideas but poor execution. They showed highlights of Dynamite on it, and I was like, great idea. Show us how great it is. How many segments did they show us that were literally stupid and pointless? I was like, why did you this isn't even like a good thing? They showed so many pointless, like, you have so many highlights in the 5 years of AEW. You didn't want to I get you can't focus on Punk, but other than that, you had you could have focused on so many good things. And there was, like, they did good with, Brody and stuff, but there was just some really, like, I don't know why because they're like leading it in, like Hook and Samoa Joe. I'm sorry, that's not a top greatest Dynamite moments of all. Like, what are we doing?
And
like,
speaking of that, Dynamite felt like it was missing a lot for it being the 5-year show, and you didn't have MJF on there, who's one of your pillars.
Yeah,
no Sammy Guevara, who's also one of your pillars. Darby Allin was on he issued an open challenge on behind the scenes, so he wasn't there. And I mean, and Jack Perry was the only one there, and he's involved in a pointless feud right now too. So it felt like no Eddie Kingston, who's been there for a while, no Samoa Joe, like former AEW champion. It just felt like it was missing a lot for it being the 5-year anniversary.
And no return. I mean, I show the Benjamin's cool, but we can't get Wardlow or somebody back. Although I hear Wardlow's injured, but Jay White did come back, so that was cool. Yeah, but it definitely didn't feel like a 5-year anniversary show.
No, not at all.
But it was a good episode of Dynamite. I did like it, although I critiqued it. I still loved it. All right, you ready for our segment?
Yes, sir.
It's time. It's time for That's Cool and That's Not Cool. Let's hear our man. We brought him back, by the way.
We sure did.
That's not cool.
This is what we're gonna give you. Oh, there you go. We're gonna give each other a couple scenarios, or a few scenarios, and we will decide if it's cool or not cool. As always, Mr. Ryan, you get to start. What you got?
All right, let me pull up my list here.
I just made the list.
You just made the list. Okay. All right. That's cool. That's not cool. Let's go with Adam Copeland, Edge, recovers from his injury and makes his long-awaited return at WrestleDream and is the one to be the next challenger for Jack Perry in the TNT Championship.
That's cool.
There we go.
That's cool.
I like it. For one, Adam Copeland needs to come back and do something and not be with Christian yet. Again. And Jack Perry really needs to either wrestle somebody who's on a higher level than him or, lose to somebody who's on a higher level than him. So yeah, you said Jack Perry, right? Yeah. So I'm all about Adam Copeland versus Jack Perry. I like that a lot. And I think they can have a banger of a match. I think Jack Perry is very, very gifted and talented. And I've always been a fan of his. They just need the tough guy thing I don't get. And I don't get the small school bus thing either. I don't know why him driving around in a beater of a bus that smokes and kills the environment is like tough. I don't get it, but I do like his belt and I do like him still. So yeah I'm all for it. Him and Copeland would be fire.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it could be just and if Jack Perry wins, I think it's just what he needs to kind of get to that next level. So I'm all for it too.
All right. Well, since do I want to do one? I'm going to do the same thing. All right. Mr. MJF returns and accepts Darby Allin's open challenge at WrestleDream. Cool or not cool?
That's not cool.
No, you don't like it, huh?
I don't hate the idea, but I feel like both of these guys are on really bad losing streaks. And so I think they or actually MJF won that match against Daniel Garcia. But it feels like he lost it because he's gone. We haven't seen him.
That's what
but he lost the week before at All In to Will Ospreay. Darby Allin he's lost everything. He's not going after the world title.
Jeez.
So
that poor guy.
I think both guys deserve better than each other. I think they can I think MJF needs to come back and do something else, but in Darby Allin needs to feud with somebody else. I just don't think those two guys have feuded before and it just didn't work, in my opinion.
All right. Why I think it is cool is because they're both pillars. So it's a nice little mix of them. MJF has constantly made fun of Darby Allin. He's done things where he put it on his locker door before, where he made remarks. They've always had beef. And I think right now with AEW signing their huge contract deal, with them having to be pushed into the new year on a high note, who better than bringing back the face? Unless he's truly that injured and can't come back yet. But who else better than the face?
Apparently he's filming a movie.
There you go.
He's filming Happy Gilmore 2, which...
he's in that? That's great. Yeah,
he's in that. Yeah, he's in there with Travis Kelce and Adam Sandler.
All right. Well, once again, I just think it'll be a good thing. Bring him back. Have him feud with Darby Allin. Win or lose, it's good. And you can keep it up with Darby Allin losing. It is what it is. I mean, maybe he just has to finally overcome it, but I don't know. I like it.
I'd be okay.
We'll see.
I'd be okay if it's like a backstage fight or something that, MJ, not really like a match in the ring or something, but, just like that promo with Darby Allin was backstage. Like I could see Jack Perry or MJF answering it and be like, you want to fight? You want to go? Let's go. And like they fight backstage and then it leads to something as opposed to just then random, because we just talked about story. Like, why should I care about MJF Darby Allin right now if like there's no real reason to care?
Yeah. All right. Let's go. What do you got next? What do you got next for me? What's your last one?
All right, let's do this one. We're going to go a little differently. Christian Cage in the Patriarchy, Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus or Killswitch, they are the ones who attacked Taz in the parking lot. Cool or not cool?
I mean, AEW loves the overbook. Christian feud with Hook and have him feud with the world champion and so on. I'm gonna say cool. Why not? Cool. Why not? Let's do it. Christian Cage needs something to do while he builds himself up. And you can also have Hook versus Nick Wayne instead of Christian Cage versus Hook. So I'm good with it. Why not? Let's have the Patriarchy beat up on Hook a little bit. And Christian Cage will get him over. So
yeah, I think so.
Of it.
And I think, there's a reason that there's all these fan theories that Christian Cage is the attacker on Taz because he wasn't on Dynamite. He showed up on screen, and then in his promo he said something like hook, line, and sinker. Like he put extra emphasis on the word hook. And it came right after the Hook segment where he was basically pulling a Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad and was like, "I'm gonna kill all of you for messing with my family."
So bad.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think that's where they're going. And Christian, he's not winning the world titles. I wish he would be the one to dethrone Bryan Danielson, but it's not happening anytime soon. So I think this will give him something to do until then. So
That's cool.
I agree. All right. Last, that's cool. That's not cool. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Hi, guys. Chris Jericho will win the ROH World Championship and become the Nueve. Cool or not cool?
That's not cool.
Well, too bad it's happening. So good.
It's happening. Yeah, I know. It's 100% happening. He's dethroning Mark Briscoe. And but do I want it to happen? Absolutely not. ROH, like, why are we still defending ROH titles on AEW television? But why are we only defending one? Where the hell is Athena? Athena has, I don't even know what title she has, but she has one of them. I think the women's television championship.
Yeah.
And then there's like the ROH women's title, which we never see defended. But it's always Mark Briscoe who defends the world title, and it happens on AEW television. And I don't understand it, and I don't want to see it. Chris Jericho, he needs to do. I kind of enjoy what he's doing now to a little bit. You know, the crowd's doing it back. He says hi guys, they're saying hi guys back, so it's getting over a little bit. But yeah, I don't want him feuding for ROH championships. I just don't like the whole idea of ROH titles on AEW television.
Yeah, I agree. I'm over that as well. But he's gonna win, and it's not gonna be cool because Jericho, that's what he does. He beats you, takes your title, and then says it's good for business, and he's building stars. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Because they'll win it back from him. But we've already seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad part is, but I can't believe it brought up his brother in that segment. Hardcore. I guess Mark is over it now, or not over it, but has at least come to acceptance that he's allowed to hear those type of things be called to him for the best of business. So, but that was hardcore. The crowd was even like shook.
Yeah.
The crowd was even like, oof, yikes.
Yeah, that was kind of cringy the way he said it too.
It really, but I think that was the point. So I think it delivered well. You know, yeah. All right. That's it. Let's get into it. It's our favorite segment of the week where we do our least valuable dude or dudette and our most valuable dude or dudette. And this will be all based off the week of AEW.
Dude.
Let's get into it. Ryan, who is your least valuable dude or dudette? I think we should have the same one. Maybe we won't. Let's see it.
Oh, man. I think we might, but so I'm going to go I'm going to change it. I'm going to go Saraya. So women's division, going over to Saraya, because Saraya, emphasis on the word Saraya, is 0 for 1 in Saraya rules matches. And I mean, you had a match that was named after you, that was given, you could make all the rules and you still lost. Now, granted, it was the best thing, the best she's looked in the ring since she's been back in AEW, and she looked fantastic. She's moving a lot better, and I'm happy to see that. But like, what are we doing? Like, that match did nothing for nobody. Saraya lost. She wasn't on the 5-year Dynamite. She won't. What are we doing with her going forward? It feels like, I mean, the women's division right now is starting to lose a little bit of its steam in AEW, and you know, Saraya she was the face of Rampage for a while, and now we haven't seen her recently there. It's just, I don't know what's going on with her. So I'm going to say Saraya because she lost a match that was named after her.
Oh, it's 100% Saraya. You try to switch it, but we have the same. It has to be.
If you lose a match, you base yourself Ricochet and Will. I thought
no, because that's just what they do every week. I mean, it's 100% Saraya. You created a match where you couldn't lose and you lost. You take the L. I love you, Saraya. I truly love you. I'd actually marry Saraya, but I ain't. Girl. You
only 32
this week. I know, and woo. All right, most valuable dude or dudette. Who do you got? Maybe we'll have different ones here. Who do you got?
Who did I choose? Where's my list. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go Switchblade Jay White. I think that was probably my favorite moment of Dynamite, because they didn't tell us it was happening. They didn't foreshadow it. They didn't say, like you mentioned that you wanted Excalibur to say like, oh, is he going to take him out like he did Jay White? I didn't want that because that would have planted in my brain that, hey, they mentioned Jay White. They haven't said Jay White at all.
All right, I respect that.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was a big surprise. It was a good return. He looks fantastic. I think, like I said before, this feud, Hangman Page could lose, and it's not going to hurt him at all because he'll still be this deranged lunatic that's just going to do everything he can to get back at Jay White. I think this feud could be the thing that propels Jay White to the next level in AEW, maybe get him in the title picture of some sort. There's 11,000 titles to choose from. But yeah, it was a good moment. He looked great. I liked how there was the table that was already propped up in the audience, they got to run through it. But it was all good. I enjoyed it. It was good storytelling, and that's something we appreciate here on Two Dudes with Attitude. So Switchblade Jay White gets my vote for MVD.
Great vote. Love it. And I'm glad to see Jay White back. And damn, did he look good? He looked good.
He sure did.
All right, I'm gonna go with a group. So dudes, I'm going with the BCC, and I have to give them props only because. I don't even know if they're called the BCC anymore, but they've been cutting some. For one, they're all over our darn screen, so they're all over the place, which is a positive. So you have to be the most valuable if you're that person. But Mox, just like Jay White, looks better than ever. His promos have been ferocious. We still haven't heard exactly why he doesn't, other than it's for a title, but it's just really, really good. I like everything about it. I like that there could be a mystery man. I like that there's other things into play. It's just they're dominating, they're beating people up, they're beating up Bryan Danielson, they're beating up Wheeler Yuta and still forcing them to team with them. They're just a win-win situation. The BCC is back to how when I used to love them back in the days. They feel like that faction again. So they're easily my most valuable dudes. Dude.
Yeah, I almost went with Wheeler Yuta because I really enjoyed the promo that he cut there at the end too, because it feels like they're putting a lot of confidence in him. He's a huge part of this story because now he's teaming with Bryan Danielson against his trios mates that he shares a title with. So yeah, I'm all for this feud. I think they're doing a great job with the storytelling and everything, and I think this could be one of those stories that doesn't just put Jon Moxley over or Bryan Danielson over, but gets Claudio over as well and gets Wheeler Yuta over and Pac over. So it kind of gets everybody involved and they all get their shine, which that's what you want when you have a faction. So kudos to them.
I agree. Well said. All right. That's our AEW edition, y'all. Really quick, if you are not just an AEW hardcore fan and you enjoy WWE, check us out tomorrow on Twitch and YouTube. We are going to be doing a live watch along with a special guest, believe it or not, a fan actually. One of you listeners will be a special guest, so it can happen if you like the two dudes.
That's right. If you like dudes, if you're into dudes, come on over.
Especially two dudes. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing a live watch along for WWE Bad Blood. It should be a jam-packed show. It looks like The Rock is gonna be returning. It looks like it's gonna be fun. So
I have a rant about that, but that's
not for this episode. Yeah. But
Cody Rhodes.
Jesus. Yeah, so dumb. I know. But anyway, tune into that if you like it. If not, we'll see you next week for our AEW edition. It should be really good. We got Title Tuesday. We got some big things happening. The BCC moving forward. Are we going to get some more returns? And how are we cooking with that new TV deal? Congratulations
WrestleDream
to Tony Khan. And WrestleDream is just of that. This is the follow to WrestleDream, right? So we'll have our predictions for that.
Yep.
So it should be a jam-packed week for AEW. As always, thank you for subscribing, listening, watching, no matter where you're doing it from. And if you just want to check me out, it's on HBD Denton on all streaming services. Please go check out my TikToks. I'm posting like 6 times a day, but not getting any views. Help me get those views up. Share my damn videos, just like you should share this video, because that's how you get it when you share it out to other people. With me, as always, is the man that I will be seeing tomorrow.
It is Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go hit me up on all the social media platforms as well. Hit us up on TikTok, which we will be doing TikTok content here again soon. I promise. At Two Dudes with Attitudes. We're on X at Two Dudes PC. and we're on Twitch because we're back being live again. So follow us there, and then keep subscribing to the YouTube. We're blowing up, and we want to try to get to 1,300 followers by the end of October. So we're about 40 away. I think we can make that happen. So let's keep that going. And then if you're listening to us on audio, Spotify, you name it, appreciate all the love and support. Go drop us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet.
I agree. Two Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.